All right, brothers and sisters in Christ, I wanted to do an update. I had a new vision, and God gave me an epiphany, and I wanted to start with that. It pertains to food and giving thanks. So this was on 4/6/21. I had gone through the Passover of unleavened bread, no yeast, and I strictly applied myself to that diet with no bread for 8 days until Sunday night, and then I felt like I needed the wheat or pasta or bread, so I had some waffles, and then I went and I had a cup of ramen because I like to eat ramen. And the next day I went out and I went to get some of my favorite food. It was Chinese food. I went to Panda Express, and I had a writer that day, and really nice, but I've been seeing people, and people who are overweight. And when I was younger, I was 16 years old and I was 275 pounds, and I got a job at Walmart as a truck unloader, and I overcame that by working for 2 years there. I lost around 75 pounds. I was down to around 200, and then I went down to 175, and I was like a string bean, and then I gained it back with muscle mass through my hard work there. And when I see people who are a little bit heavier, my heart sinks, and I'm very sad about it. And I think, what happened? How did they get there? And I kind of thought, well, maybe they were doing some things themselves, maybe they were eating too much or something. But usually it's not the case. When people eat, they are getting nourishment. People who are overweight, they still need to eat. And I just thought, I came from that, and here I'm thinking of this, and that's not right. And so I thought, some people have health disorders, some people aren't getting enough money and they can't have access to the healthier food. And so the devil really wants to put these negative thoughts into your mind in order to get you to sin. And so I went home that night, and I had some pasta with a little bit of oil and some seasonings, some Parmesan, and I was eating it. And I've been saying grace real quick, because I'm just like, oh, food, thank you, Lord. And I haven't really it's been just surface level. And so I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to ask the Lord for anything. I'm only going to ask that He provides me what I need, not what I want. And so I went and I got an apple. And earlier that day, the food that I had ate, it just went right through me. It was almost like I was given a sign saying, just there's something to think about here. So I went and I got an apple, and I cut into it. I cut it into pieces, and I got some peanut butter and some Nutella, and I was eating it. And this well of emotion came over me. I just started crying. I couldn't stop. And it was like God was giving me an epiphany. And I remember when I was younger, I used to get upset with my mother and my dad with chewing noises. I had that, whatever they call it. People get upset with people eating. And I just thought how upset that made them. And here I am, I'm a chef, and I cook for people, and I'm getting upset with people's eating sounds when it's supposed to be something, so pure. It's when people eat, it is love. You're giving people care, you're caring for them, and God gives us food, and He's caring for us with this life-giving substance. And I just thought, you know, how upset I was back then and how wrong I was and how I was going about it with the wrong thought process. And it came to my mind of, you know, Adam and Eve eating the apple, the fruit of knowledge, and, you know, God, the Lord, was giving me knowledge right then. He was giving me an epiphany. And I just thought how people are taken advantage of, you know, making those foods, underpaid workers. I thought about, here I am eating when people in other countries, they don't have as much access to food. And I felt as if that apple, after giving thanks, was literally like the first food I ever really ate, even though I've been eating food my entire life, is the first food that I ever really was thankful for. He opened my eyes in that moment. And so just as Jesus fed the poor, fed the people, he was providing love, pure, unadulterated love for them. And when you eat of Jesus's bread and of his blood, his wine, you know, in his name, he is providing pure love. And I've been seeing all these signs of hearts around, and at that moment I got it. At that moment I got that, you know, he's giving life. He's giving life to us. And, you know, preparing and giving food to others equates to giving love. And not caring for others, not giving them the food or drink, equates to sin. And you know, with life-giving, I just found a couple of squirrels on the ground, and I was providing for them, and I brought them to a wildlife rehabilitation center the next day, and I was scrambling for, you know, kitten food and milk and Pedialyte that I'm flavored, and, you know, I was just they're like 5 weeks old, and I was taking care of them, and I just thought, you know, it's life. Food is life-giving. And that was the lesson that the Lord was trying to really provide for me. And when Adam and Eve ate the food, you know, God was giving them life. He was providing his love for them. And then Satan came over and he tricked them into taking which was not theirs, not their food, and forsake their father's love. And so, you know, it's just Satan lacks love, or is the opposite of it. And so the next day at 12:02 p.m., I saw the sun and then the moon going in front of the sun, and then I heard the horn and was caught up immediately. And I was in a kitchen, and I was next to Gordon Ramsay, or I think possibly the personification of what God was trying to show me. And he was making desserts, and there was a competition on a 4-layered cheesecake, and all the finished pieces were lined up on a wall, and they were vanilla bean, the one that I made, or he made, I'm not sure who made it, but it was a 4-layer cheesecake with vanilla bean layers. And then there is white chocolate made in large round wafers put in between the layers. And then on the top there is white frosting. On the side there is white chocolate fudge with white chocolate chips on the side. And they were just beautiful. So I went up to look at this array of cheesecakes. And above it showed these people. And it was the people that were cooking. And it was like 3D. It was almost like real. You could see these people moving. And it was like one of those Harry Potter pictures that move, and I was just awestruck. I kind of went up and I was like, what the heck? I can see through this. It's like everything that happened in 3D. And I guess I was breathing on it, and I saw the moisture from my breath, and it was right next to one of the cakes. And because I wasn't yet purified, you know, the rapture really hasn't happened yet, I had defiled the cheesecake for breathing on it, so it had to be thrown away. And so I saw him, you know, cutting it up into pieces and throwing it into the trash. And I'm like, instead of wasting it, can I try a piece? And he's like, sure, here, have a piece. And I tried it, and it was a little bit sour, but it was very, very good. It was almost like better than any food I ever had on earth. So after that, I was in this big group, and all of them were Marvel superheroes. Like, I was marveling at it, and I was made to be Wolverine with the claws. And a horn blew, and I saw the sun and the moon go in front of the sun, and we were told that now there will be a game. And we fought with one another. It wasn't like before when I was caught down into hell and shown hell and fought to be brought back up, but it was more of a lesson that was being taught. There was no pain or anything. And the one who got the most would win. And at the end of the duel, we looked up, and these paychecks were flying down. They were just floating down, and we were like putting our hands up. We were trying to catch them. And once they touched our hands, these paychecks, they turned into just crumpled paper with scribbles on them. They didn't mean anything. So money, the good people were fighting with one another for money, which didn't mean anything. And even though they worked hard for it, it was just a scrap piece of paper with ink on it. And money was just a game, and people fought with one another on earth for it. And then after that, I was caught up again, and it was the residence area of the angels in heaven, and it was their sleeping quarters, white hallways, white furniture, all white couch, lampstands, all white. And I went around a corner and saw an angel just like sitting on a couch, you know, had their leg up, almost looked like an adult Cupid with the blonde curly hair, just reading a book. And their body looked alabaster, like white marble alabaster. There wasn't blood there flowing in them, you know, the red skin. There was no blemishes, there was no tarnish. Did have angel wings, and with the feathers, you know, common. And I was just chilling right there and reading a book, and I was shown a white bedroom door, like the bedroom, and I was told, angels don't wear perfume as it would tempt one another. Also, they don't sleep in front of one another of the opposite sex, as there is no temptation in heaven. So, there's a waking and sleep cycle in heaven, is what I was shown. And one can take a nap or rest and still enjoy these kind of things. They're like reading books, eating, and, you know, the most delicious food there ever could be. And then I woke up, and I was laying on my back like this. And I was like, oh, whoa, I never sleep like this. That was very interesting. And so I woke up at 12:02, and Daniel 12:2, King James Version, says, "And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." And that was what God had purveyed to me.